Hello. In this video, I would like to talk about job interviews as they relate to having a severe disability. If you have a severe disability, you may be fortunate enough to come to the realization that getting a job interview is not impossible, although it is nearly impossible. If you are in a situation where you have a severe disability, your interview frequency is going to be very low. Your job interviews are going to be few and far between. Now, this is very unfortunate. This has very negative effects on how a person performs in that job interview or just sees themselves in general, meaning their self confidence is low. It can easily be knocked down, and that's also not a good thing. Now, what is the result of having very infrequent job interviews? Well, if you're not a conversationalist, then you can be rusty. You can give bad answers, which will throw you off, and it'll also throw off the interviewer. Also, though, and I don't think that this is thought about enough, when you have infrequent job interviews, the pressure to be perfect in the few job interviews you do get is very high. This desire to be perfect, or need to be perfect, or a perceived need to be perfect, increases your stress level to an almost insane degree. Now, this is bad, but it's not unforeseen. If we take a step back and we think, well, why is it that someone with a severe disability has infrequent interview opportunities to begin with? Well, the answer to this is that when you have a severe disability, your resume or job history is going to be lacking. You are not going to have the same number of opportunities as somebody else. And the opportunities you do have will not be prestigious. So it's going to be very hard for a prospective employer to look at your lack of a resume and say, let's give this person a shot at an interview. Of course, you do get lucky, which is why you have infrequent interviews. But this point was just brought up to show that there is a cause and effect between having a severe disability and that causing infrequent interviews, which then leads to more stress, which then leads to an even higher certainty that you will not get the few jobs that you interview for, which then continues the cycle of you feeling like you're not a valued member of society. And once you feel that way, then really all bets are off. Once you feel that way, it's very hard to pull yourself out of that. I would say maybe the best way to do this is to maybe not see yourself or have a goal that says, well, I need to function well in this capitalistic slash materialistic world. Maybe you can come up with a different philosophy of value for your life. I know that's partially what I'm trying to do, but it's much harder to do. It's much harder to do than you would think. We're not trained as humans in this modern culture to think that way, especially not in the Western world. It's perhaps more likely in the Eastern world, but I know in the Western world, we are not accustomed to that mindset. It's almost it's almost frowned upon as being a weakness if you even hint that you would prefer to live a more simplistic life.